connected to you on all devices and wherever you stream. This is WMTV 15 News Plus.
Thank you for joining us. The time is now 7 a.m. I'm Phoebe Murray. You are watching 15 News Plus, streaming live on Roku, Apple TV, Fire TV, or our free WMTV 15 News app. And on this November 4th, we do want to give you 5 Wisconsin headlines of the day in 50 seconds. UW Health and Meriter have partnered to create the NEST, or Neonatal Education Simulation and Training Center, a permanent space where medical professionals can train for life-saving care for infants. Family members of 2 people killed in a deadly crash last November in Verona have now filed a wrongful death lawsuit against the car manufacturer Tesla. Attorney General Josh Kaul has filed a lawsuit against a new U.S. Department of Education rule that would allow them to declare employees ineligible for the Public Service Loan Forgiveness Program. Child care concerns are pushing parents and providers to say they need more support as lawmakers are looking to find long-term solutions for care. And while the government shutdown drags on, Wisconsin families are cutting costs, including at the salon. One Sun Prairie owner is trying to ease the burden by offering free haircuts. It's your first 5 in 50 seconds. For a deeper dive into any of these stories, you can download our free 15 News app or head to our website, WMTV15news.com. 7:01, taking a peek out at the roads for your morning commute. This is a live look from the interstate at State Highway 59. There was a crash there a little bit earlier, but things are picking back up. No major delays in travel times to let you know about. That is, unless, of course, you are traveling along John Nolan Drive in or out of the city. That construction will be in place for 2 years.
Yeah.
So buckle up. But it hasn't been so bad. I digress. In the weather department, things are going to be beautiful today.
Yeah, we have to get through a little bit of cloudiness. You can see some of that out there this morning, but I think we'll have more sun than clouds today. And with southerly wind, temperatures are going to climb nicely. Right now we have south-southwesterly wind at 5. Our temperature is 39, but the wind chill is 36. Here are the rest of the temperatures, and they're mostly in the 30s to low 40s right now, so not a bad start to the day, near average lows, maybe a little above average. A warm front will be developing to the west of here and pushing through, and that will bring southerly wind. This is midnight, and we still have southerly wind. It's going to be a mild night, but this cold front's going to push through prior to daybreak, and that will shift the wind back to northwesterly. Still reasonably mild both Wednesday and Thursday, but the wind will kick back in behind that front, and we'll have at least some scattered cloudiness making its way back in for Thursday. Let's take a look at the 7-day forecast. 63 the high today, 56 tomorrow, quite a bit of sun, and then a few more clouds. Good chance of rain Saturday afternoon, rain likely Saturday evening, and then we'll dry things out, but temperatures will fall off early next week. The highs by Sunday and Monday only in the 30s.
Charlie, thank you. Well, where an empty General Motors plant sits, the city of Janesville is exploring the possibility of developing a data center. So tonight, residents have the chance to learn more about what this would entail. We want to turn now to our Tim Elliott, who is live in Janesville for us this morning outside of the center where this is going to be taking place. A big topic of conversation in the community there, Tim.
Yeah, Phoebe, good morning to you. That GM property site that you just mentioned, it's huge, it's sprawling, and it's been vacant for years now. The GM plant closed down back in 2008, and really ever since then, the city has been trying to find something to put there to replace it there, but not, it's like I said, it's stayed vacant for the past however many years now, 15 plus years. So tonight, what they plan on doing is having an informational meeting here at the Woodman Sports and Convention Center about the possibility of bringing a data center here to Janesville. Now, a data center is a sprawling campus used by tech companies to house all their servers and technical equipment. It's usually a very large facility that requires a lot of power, a lot of water to cool down all those machines constantly running. And people are concerned about data centers, the effect that they have on the environment. So that's what this informational meeting it will be about tonight. You can ask any questions you have to the city manager about this data center. It's very early on in the process of bringing this data center here to Janesville, and it's not a done deal yet, so it's just in the very early stages. We'll have to see where that goes, but if you're interested, 5:30 tonight here at the Woodman Sports and Convention Center. It lasts until 7 o'clock, and come with any questions, and they'll hopefully get those answered for you tonight. Reporting live from Janesville, I'm Tim Elliott for 15 News. Back to you in the studio.
Tim, thank you for that live report. Another story that we are following here across the state of Wisconsin. Humane societies are seeing more pets come through their doors. Families are facing an increasing amount of financial struggle due to the ongoing government shutdown, making it difficult to care for their animals. And many who can't keep up will surrender their pets to a local humane society or shelter. While families are struggling, the rise in pet surrenders has also taken its toll on shelter staff and volunteers up in Green Bay.
Every one of our staff members feels that pain when people come in and they have to surrender their animals.
So the Humane Society there is also helping out families in need by running what they call pet food pantries all across the Green Bay area. A man from northeastern Illinois who investigators say threatened to kill President Donald Trump will stay in federal custody until his hearing. Secret Service agents and law enforcement in Lake County arrested 57-year-old Trent Schneider at his home in Winthrop Harbor. That's just south of Kenosha along the Illinois border. Investigators say Schneider posted a video of himself on social media that threatened the president. In his federal court appearance yesterday, he told the judge that he has never been a threat to anyone. The judge ordered Schneider held until a detention hearing on Thursday. Well, new this morning, former Vice President Dick Cheney has died at the age of 84. Cheney served under former President George W. Bush from 2001 to 2009. Cheney was known as a chief architect of the war in Iraq following the 9/11 terrorist attacks. In recent years, Cheney became a stout defender of his daughter Liz Cheney when she became the leading Republican critic. According to his family, Cheney died last night due to complications of pneumonia and cardiac and vascular disease. He was surrounded by his family, including his wife Lynn and his daughters Liz and Mary, at the time of his death. Time right now is 7:07 on this Tuesday morning. Taking another live look out at the interstate for you before you head out the door. According to the Department of Transportation, there are no crashes that they are reporting right now. No major delays in travel times either to let you know about. Thank you so much for joining us here on 15 News Plus. We'll see you right back here tomorrow at 7 a.m.
Add WMTV 15 News to your Roku, Amazon Fire, Apple TV, or Google TV today and never miss a moment of 15 News Plus.
Rethink how you get breaking news. With Local News Live, you get the big national stories direct from local reporters. Authentic, unfiltered, live where the story is. Local News Live, always streaming, always free.
We now join Local News Live, already in progress.